This week, FJ Westcott just released the new FJ100 Speedlight along with the new FJ100 Strobe into their lighting arsenal, and in this video we'll do a full unboxing and compare them against their predecessors so you can decide if you want to add these to your lighting kit. Now, I've been a Westcott user for quite a number of years now, starting out with the FJ200s and the original FJ80, and I'm really excited about all of the changes Westcott has been making with adding new gear to their lineup. I can really appreciate that they're really paying attention to the gear that their user base really needs and will be really effective in the field, and I'm excited about all of the changes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the new FJ100, starting with the Speedlight. And as we open the box, right here in the top left, we have the battery for the FJ100. Now, this battery works with both the FJ100 Speedlight and the FJ100 Strobe. I'll show you a little bit later on about how interchangeable that is. But, you know, this is clutch because it allows you to be able to have a more seamless workflow, which I love what Westcott is doing across not only their Speedlights, but also their studio strobes. Next, we have our charging and data cable, along with our power plug so that we can keep our gear charged. And last but not least, we have the new FJ100 Speedlight. Now, immediately we can see that the new FJ100 Speedlight is significantly smaller than the FJ80 Mark II. And if we compare them side by side, you can see that, you know, the FJ100 is roughly about an inch shorter than the FJ80, which for me is super convenient because I have to carry a Speedlight on wedding day, but I don't keep that Speedlight on camera all the time. So I find myself oftentimes either tucking it into my sling bag, or most of the time I'll stick it in my back pocket. Now, one of the other things that makes the FJ100 smaller than the FJ80 is the size of the batteries. So if we look at the battery here on the FJ80, and the battery for the FJ100, you can see that, yes, of course, it's smaller. They're roughly about the same girth, but the new FJ100 Speedlight, that battery goes inside of our flash here versus the FJ80 Mark II. It fits right here on the front. So with that battery being internal versus it being right here on the front of the flash, it makes the flash less bulky as well. Now, one of the things that's always been a huge hit for me with the Westcott flashes is this large LCD screen. And at first sight, if we look at the FJ100, you would think that we're losing significant size on our Speedlight display. But if we turn them both on, you can see that although the FJ80 screen seems to be a lot larger, we're not really losing any of that space, that functional space, because across the top of the FJ80 Mark II, we have a menu that allows us to be able to change our camera, change our channel, put it in standby mode. But with the FJ100, all we have to do is swipe up, and those menu items are still here and available for us to be able to use. And we can just swipe it back down. So we still have the same amount of functional space when it comes to our touchscreen display. Now, one thing that's changed with the FJ100 versus the FJ80 Mark II is now all I have to do is drag my finger here and I can change our power settings, and we could do that for each one of our groups. Versus with the FJ80, we have to use our up and down arrows to be able to increase or decrease our power. We also get our color groupings on the FJ100, which has been consistent with the Westcott FJ lights since the introduction of the FJ400 Mark II. Now, this feature is clutch when you're in a situation with multiple lights and you're around the room and you need to be able to tell which light is inside of which group. And as we move into the FJ100 Strobe, I'll show you how that appears on the strobe as well, so you can see how they work together. Now, we still do have the ability to turn on our modeling lamp either on our Speedlight or any lights that are connected when we're inside of host mode. So we just have to click the little light bulb here, and that will turn on our modeling lamp. And then we can do the same thing simultaneously on any of the other groups that we're connected to as well. One other small feature that I'm really enjoying is the build. It seems that the movement on the flash head is a lot more fluid than what we had on the FJ80 Mark II. And it's also not as noisy. I don't know if you can hear that. It's not as noisy with the FJ100. Now, the one thing I do wish that they brought back on the FJ100 is, as opposed to having kind of like this little manual tightening function, I wish that they brought back just the single click lock that we had on the FJ80 Mark I. Honestly, that's just a personal preference of mine when it comes to speedlights. It doesn't make or break my experience with any of the flashes. I just prefer that in my workflow. But so far, I'm really happy with this new FJ100 Speedlight. I've had mine for a couple of weeks now, using it in the field, and the biggest thing for me is how small and compact it is as compared to the FJ80. Now, one of the other features that I'm really loving about the new FJ100 system is the new battery is USB-C. So we can find USB-C cables anywhere to be able to charge our batteries. But the thing that I do like the most is that if for whatever reason you forget to charge your batteries, you can always plug your USB-C cable directly into this, whether it's from a wall charger or from a V-mount battery, to be able to charge your battery while you're actually in the field working. So now that we've taken a look at the FJ100 Speedlight, let's go ahead and dive into the new strobe. And as we open the box, you can see that it comes inside of a nice carrying case. And if we take a look inside, we have our FJ100 flash unit, we have our mounting bracket, our power plug, the FJ100 battery, and then up top we have our power and data cable, along with our quick start guide, which who reads quick start guides, right? So let's go ahead and dig into the flash unit. I love how compact this flash unit is. As a destination wedding photographer, everything that I do is all about portability and speed. And to have big bulky lights inside of my bag is just not something that I want when I'm on the go. If we look at this FJ100 Strobe, you can see that it's not really much bigger than any of my lenses. In fact, it's actually smaller than my Canon 780-200. So I can literally take this and sit it down directly inside of my camera bag, just like a lens, put multiples of them together in a smaller space, and it just makes for a better experience as a traveling photographer. And if we look at it side by side with our FJ200s, you can see that the FJ100 is about 25% smaller than the FJ200. So for me, it's a huge win in the portability factor. Now, aside from power, one of the main differences between the FJ100 and the FJ200 is that the FJ100 uses a Fresnel head versus the FJ200 had an open bulb. Now, at times, this open bulb has caused some challenges for me because the light just comes out and it just spreads everywhere, versus with the Fresnel head, it gives us a more controlled distribution of light. And although the FJ200 does come with a reflector to be able to kind of, help funnel that light, it's still not the same distribution that we get from this Fresnel head. So I'm really excited about this addition to the strobe unit. And just so you guys can see what I'm talking about, I'll add some pictures here of how the light distributes with just the FJ100, the FJ200 with just the bare bulb, another one with the reflector, and a last one with the grid that comes on it. That way you can see what I mean about how the light is distributed when it first comes out of the flash unit. Now, the other thing is that the FJ100 is fully touch screen, whereas the FJ200 was not. So we hit our little power button here on the side, and again, everything is fully touch screen, just like everything else inside of the Westcott ecosystem. We have our menu across the top, which we can scroll to be able to go into our other functions like changing the group, changing our channel, sync, so on and so forth. And as I mentioned earlier, these units allow you to be able to see your color grouping right here on the side of the flash. So right now we're on group C, and if I change that to group B, you can see we changed the orange, group A is blue, and so on and so forth. Now, all in all, I'm really excited about these new flash units. Again, I've had the opportunity to kind of work with them in the field. And again, if you're a traveling photographer, this is the flash setup that you want, especially if you're doing something like weddings. Now, if you're doing just general portrait, understand that you're not going to be able to use a FJ100 to overpower the sun. You'll still need something like an FJ800 or maybe FJ400, just all depending on the time of the day that you're shooting. But these are awesome for when you're shooting in the latter part of the day, getting closer to sunset, as well as being able to shoot at indoor locations. Now, I've already gone ahead and added 4 of these lights to my lighting kit, and if you want to get some of your own, I've left a link down below where you can go ahead and pick up some for yourself, as well as there's a link to my lighting guide, which has been updated, by the way, to include the new FJ100 Strobe and FJ100 Speedlight. But what are your thoughts on the new FJ100s? Is this something that you can see adding to your lighting kit? Comment down below and let me know if it's something that you're going to pick up or something that you're going to pass on for now. But that's it for the new FJ100s. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. And if you did, please go ahead and hit that like button and be sure to share it with a friend who might enjoy this content as well. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.